Sean, can I hear you?
What's up, man?
What is up, Sean?
What's going on, brother?
Woo. Pouring some coffee, actually. That's all that's
Nice.
going on. Getting my day together. How you doing this morning? You getting your day? This is early.
Technically, yes. For me, this is early.
What time you normally get up?
Uh, there's
I'm
no
gonna
telling,
ask.
man.
Okay,
It really
I'm gonna
depends
ask
on
the hard
how late I
questions
was
right off the
up.
bat. Hmm.
It always depends on how late you're up painting. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I guess I do. Because it depends on how much you work. That's work for you.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been the last since I got back off tour. I've been kind of hiding away at the house over here, just pumping out shirts and clothing as much as I can. So. It's been a lot of late nights.
Technical difficulties over here.
No worries, no worries.
Yes, it sure is. Uh, Fucking cat. That's what it is. You're gonna have to do some editing, Candy. My fucking cat, damn it. Yeah, I planned on it. I just wanted to get some of the voice warm up and all that going. I apologize, brother, for anything.
No worries,
Any,
man.
it took a minute to get this together, so that's why I guess I'm apologizing for the long
And,
process.
everything that's supposed to happen and is good for you takes some time.
Not there, it is through that. Perfect. All right. So less of a word. My fucking cat just pissed on my fucking bed, man. I don't know if she's getting old. It's brand new. Hasn't happened so much, but she's 12 now. I
Oh
guess
shit.
I guess I have to start paying attention to different stuff, and I shouldn't sound so angry about a geriatric cat. Sorry, man. But let me open this up then. Let's really start. Okay. I'm gonna do a little what is it, intro like kind of thing. And then we're gonna jump into your backstory and build your brand through exploring the authenticity of it.
Oh great.
And I'm using that word only because I just got done watching a fucking a documentary about Von Dutch. Did you see that?
I have not.
Well, I bet it's something worth you watching. Actually, now I think about it, because you're in that, you're in that stage of building.
I definitely am, man. Like 100%.
Let me try and say, I don't want to sound too smart. I don't want to talk about this show, so I'm going to say this kind of off the record. We still haven't started. Don't respond too much. Maybe use it for something, but we got to get right into this. But I'll share this. Three tips that I took from that thing was that this guy says at one point, the way to build a brand is to stand for something. Number two, be authentic.
Yeah.
And that's the most important parts. I think he was pointing out about that. As long as you stand for something and you're authentic about who you are, then people will come to it, because that shit draws, flies. All right, moving on. Let me do the intro. Shawn Baker.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong, right? Not Barker.
Yeah, it is Sean Baker. Yes, sir.
I put it in wrong in my phone at one point. So, hey, welcome to Straight to the Point, completely off topic, with your extremely amped up host, Kyle Dunbar. A little bit too much coffee this morning. And today our guest is Shawn Baker. And I'm proposing this idea that as we're sitting around a table at a villain arts convention, and I'm saying, man, I really feel like this. I feel like my podcast is simply a eye into the world, my world, for the world, So like, it is a way to see my world, and my world's so fucking interesting that I could pretty much just pick any random motherfucker at Villain Arts, and we could do a podcast, and it will be interesting. And then somebody says, well, man, you could have all kinds of guests that way. And I said, yeah, pretty much that's all I do. Well, you were at the table, and we hadn't
I
met.
was at the table.
We hadn't met. And then I have this perfect opportunity to try it out. And the very first thing I talked to, I said, well, Shawn would go on your podcast. I'm like, all right, now I just put my foot in my mouth. Shawn may have nothing to say. He might be boring as fuck. I don't know, right? And then the very next thing is I find out that you're launching a clothing brand. and it's all hand painted, beautifully done shirts and other clothing, right?
Yes, sir.
So we got something to explore. Let's get right into it because what I saw of your work too was top notch. I'm amazed because I come up with this stupid idea. I can just have anybody on from Villain Arts, but I'm not wrong, am I? Like you're in that circle too. It's an interesting place to be.
It's a very interesting place to be, and I will say that you can definitely find some very good people and some interesting characters along the way.
It's interesting characters how to like balance the very good people. Well, some of
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
them.
got to have a beautiful balance, you know?
The world is that, isn't it?
I believe
Like
so.
if the biggest problem with say churches is of course the people inside. If you get any group of anybody, you're going to have the majority of them are going to be shit. But maybe did I just man? I'm shitting on every fucking group in the world. I don't know that I'm wrong.
I don't really think that you're shitting on every group in the world. I kind of feel like you might be actually giving a lot of groups a little bit of leeway.
Yes, because the majority of your members are fucking shit. So
I
like,
agree.
hey, the little bit of you that's doing good may be valuable. um, yeah, Villain
But I
Arts is one
will
of these
say though, hold
places.
on though. What
Mhm.
I will say on that topic though, man, that's when you actually meet some genuine people and some good people. That's when you're able to, or if you're a smart person, you're able to appreciate what's in front of you.
And by appreciation, then draw more towards or be gravitating towards those same things and find
Exactly.
that in your life. Then, like,
Exactly.
tell me, Shawn, how'd you get? You're a tattoo artist first and foremost. That's right.
Yes.
Which is generally a long road. Any artist that I've known, generally somewhere in their life, I don't know if it wasn't they were hugged enough, they weren't. There's some missing part that makes you have the necessity to create. Agreed or disagreed? And if so, what's the missing part? What's your puzzle piece, bro?
Man, actually, I've never heard it explained that way, but that's a very good way of kind of explaining it, dude. Really, you
Well,
know.
I see the sideshow acts and Reggie Bug Muncher in particular. She has but several of them talk about the necessity for adulation and because of an absence from their parents. And I look around and I start saying, I think that's everybody in here. It's all these artists too.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are, we need our ego stroked somehow. Even if I can't take a compliment, but I kind of need it.
I honestly, I'm really bad at taking compliments. That would definitely be one of, a big one for me is
No,
taking
no, let me
compliments.
give you a compliment, man. You are the best at taking compliments. You're the best person I've ever met at taking compliments.
I'm not good at it, man.
Is
I'm
that hurting
really
you a little
fucking
bit?
not. I'm really not, man. Like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that is where a lot of our creativeness, like wanting to create, comes from because we do not like taking compliments because we always feel like we have a little bit more to give, we have more to create, we have more to put out there into the world. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe that could be some of that absentee that you were talking about.
What where does your art first where do you first realize you have a taste for it?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. So my grandmother, when I was young, she used to make all of our birthday cards and Christmas cards. And I mean, when I say she would make them, she would buy the paper, like just get the paper. She would fold everything, stack things on top of each other, background stuff like that. And she had these little stamps that she would buy, and she would stamp them down and paint them really well. And I used to sit there and watch her do that when I wasn't, working and doing all this other stuff. And when we were kids growing up, we had a lot of chores.
Mm.
So whenever we got a chance to get away at my grandfather's house, we'd always go to my grandmother's room and watch her, make these cards and always doing some sort of art. And I kind of like that would be like the first time anything like creative, like artistic wise, was really put in front of me.
Did
That would definitely be the start, I would say.
did you have a good relationship with your grandma too then?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So you didn't go to jail or prison.
No, actually, I will be honest with you, man. I was one of those people, those kids that were destined to go to prison with the things I was into and what I was up to.
Even with the
Um,
guidance from your grandma, this is statistically an anomaly. Not true,
uh,
but it is like 80% less likely if you have a good relationship with your grandparents. It's like 80% less likely to end up incarcerated.
hmm, I didn't know that. I
I'm
did
I
not know
could be
that.
making it up, man. I don't, but feel free
Hey,
to
this is
trust
your
it.
podcast. If you're making shit up, they're the ones going to call you on it, man, not me.
Well, that's what they used to always say, or I've heard for so long. The importance of a relationship with your grandparents. What destined you for this? What were you running with? Drugs? You running with the
Oh,
gangs?
oh yeah, man. Selling drugs and just doing a whole lot of bad shit, man. Really, like going out there robbing and stealing and just headed down a really bad path, bro. Really bad path.
What do you think you deserved it? Or you have or you falling in with the wrong crowd?
Well, what it was is we grew up, man. We didn't really have a whole lot of money, and when you grow up not having a whole lot of money and you want certain things, you figure out ways to get them, man.
Yeah.
Selling drugs and doing things like that, where I grew up, and a lot of people in the industry could understand this as well too. That it wasn't easy to make an honest buck, but it was definitely easy to make a buck.
Yep. Once it
So I
becomes
went down that
easy,
path.
then you keep going. Yeah. What was your first crime? You figure? Do you mind getting into it?
Oh, I don't give a shit, man. This is all old. I can't get in trouble for any of it. But I was young, man. What I used to do was always a entrepreneur, man. Always a hustler. So I used to go into the stores, and actually, my first crime was my first business as well. I used to go in and I used to steal candy and stuff, and I would take that back to school, and I would have a backpack and a locker full of candy, and
Yeah.
that's how I started, making money before I was into selling drugs and stuff.
Did any of your family know that you were doing that?
Oh yeah, I grew up with nothing but brothers, so my brothers knew what I was doing. My mom and dad were around but didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were the ones that were always there, man, but they were always working. They just that's just the way it went. We always had to. We always had what we needed. You know what I mean? But when it came to those things that you wanted, when you have three or four children, you can't always get your children those things. So when you have a child like me, I figure out a way to get it myself.
So income level, you're lower income. You're saying then when your kids are
Yeah, like
growing
I
up.
said, we always had what we needed. You know what I mean? Don't I'm not gonna try to take away from my parents in any way, shape, or form. That we had a home, we had
Hmm.
we had all that, but it also wasn't easy, man. It also wasn't easy for them. So
And you yourself start out as an entrepreneur. The same. I guess I mean I should confess the same. I think that was it wasn't my first job, but it was my first illegal job. I used to have a paper route,
right.
and it was right down the road from my house. I would go and do the paper route, and then on the way back, I would go to the store, and I could buy candy and stuff like that. But man, these people didn't pay on the paper route. Like you had to hustle them, and they made you. I'm like a 13-year-old kid, and I got to hold people up for 45 cents every week, right?
Hmm.
But I have this huge bag around my shoulder, and I can go into the candy store, and man, I just used to play, slipping gums and everything in there, and then I could hustle that money from the candy. Shame on me. Anyways, and then once you learn how to do these things, it seems like a natural progression because especially if you don't have anybody there telling you no, right? So like your brothers, I'm guessing they're kind of be like, that's cool, that's his hustle, whatever. I ain't gonna fuck it up.
No, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Mhm.
We realized very young that if you wanted to make money, you had to have a hustle. You know what I mean? You had to figure it out. There was no daddy's got money to give me to go and do whatever the hell I want type of deal. Now you had to figure it out, man. You had to come up with some money.
I think it's kind of the right way and the wrong way, right? Like It's the right way that that you should have that inspiration and that
Yeah.
drive and that figure it out. So you figure the desire first, and then you just figure the means out. The wrong way is that you're not doing it by a means that is helpful, right? Like it's not symbiotic. Like you're not helping the other and
I will
taking
say,
from somewhere, right? Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't want my children doing the same thing, and I wouldn't want any other child doing the same thing. But I definitely, in no way, shape, or form, I know it was wrong for me to do these things, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, at one point it
it
comes to an
also
epiphany. I know this because you don't do it now,
exactly,
right?
and it pushes you into you end up having choices in life, and that's one of those choices. Now, do I continue on this path, or do I find a new one, or do I create a new path? And for me, my changing point for me was actually I had my first son when I was 17 years old, and I got an ultimatum by his mother, and it was, hey, you can either like go back to tattooing, you can go back to whatever it is you want to do, but if you're going to keep doing this, the baby ain't going to be there.
What, and this was hustling or selling drugs at this point.
That was hustling and selling dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was when I got a little bit older.
Dope, marijuana dope, or something more serious.
Oh, always something more serious, man.
Okay.
I'm a
I
little
ain't trying to get, yeah,
man.
I got it. Like, yeah, dope sometimes, depends on where you're at and what state.
This is
Like,
true.
oh,
This is
he's
very
selling a
true.
little bit of green. That ain't no problem. No, but you end up with some real, I mean, it's no, was it? If you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas, and you get some real fucked up bedfellows when you're dealing with, hard
Oh yeah.
drugs like that. And
Oh
you end
yeah.
up having that all around your life now. That's cool of your baby's your child's mother. I don't mean to say baby's mama. I guess I already did, and then I said it twice. So I guess I meant to
That's
double
the
down
baby
on
mama. It's all good.
but this beautiful woman who did you this kind favor, birthing your child, taking 9 months, and giving you life. This woman also gave you an ultimatum, and that's kind of pretty. That's pretty righteous of her.
I agree. I agree, man. Because God only knows, man. Like where I would have been, and shit, if I even would have been here. Let's be real about the situation.
At that
You
time, how was your attitude then? Your mental attitude has to be pretty tough, right? Like you can't. You
yeah,
got
man. At
ego,
that
you got
point, bro, I
pride.
really didn't
Mm-hmm.
give a whole lot of. I didn't care about a whole lot. I really didn't give a shit. I knew I was gonna end up in prison. Where I grew up, it was kind of a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God, do I know?
it's
It's
looking at it now as an adult, man. Like I try to teach my kids so different from what
mhm.
I learned out on the streets. You know what I mean? But
What I
yeah,
learned
man.
was you don't keep any of that. You know what I mean? All those things that you get kind of ill-gotten like that, they don't stay around you.
No.
The means of which that you get them, you probably remember it too. The first time, like you're kind of like, there's an honor among thieves, or you imagine, right? And then the first time that one of your friends steals the shit that you stole from you,
I
you
was gonna
know?
say that was always the dumbest fucking saying that I've ever heard. That's like fake it till you make it. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
some of the dumbest fucking sayings I've ever heard in my life.
Which, what one? Oh, honor
Uh,
among thieves.
honor among thieves, and yeah, like I said, fake it until you make it, man. Those are ain't no damn honor among thieves.
And you can't fake it until you ain't gonna make it. You fake it.
Yeah, there's no. See, somebody had tried to tell me that a long time ago. When in the tattoo industry, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, I was like, man, I really want to be at this point. I want to be able to do portraits, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And they're like, man, just fake it till you make it. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid, bro. Like, I'm gonna go fuck somebody up right now. That makes no sense, dude. That doesn't work here, bro. It don't work.
No, so you took a way different. Are you doing portraits?
Oh yeah, I do portraits as well. Yes.
So you took a different approach to it. You're like, well, I'll learn it so I don't have to fake it.
Oh yeah, bro. I sat and drew portraits and drew portraits and drew portraits before I would even attempt a portrait.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I drew portraits for years before I even attempted to tattoo one.
That's got to make everything easier.
It does. I would say when it comes to for me, and I don't want to speak on for anybody else because everybody else has a different way of establishing their skills in this industry. But for me, man, like if I can draw it and I can draw it multiple different times,
Mhm.
I can then turn it over and tattoo it. If I can paint it, oil paints. I believe oil paints are one of the best things in the world when it comes to learning how to do color tattoos. If
I've
you can
heard
paint
people
it,
argue between the two different mediums for that exact, but yeah, I've heard people argue pencil,
we'll see.
especially.
Actually,
Mhm.
and um, a person I watch a lot is Pooch, and Pooch is
Mhm.
always doing the colored pencils, and
Mhm.
and obviously that's working for him. So we can't say that that's wrong. You know what I mean?
Right. I do know. I find there's similarities in everyone. For me, I personally love oil paints just
I
because
do too.
it's the smell and the smoothness, right? And then the ability to wait and be like, well, I'm going to give that, half an hour or maybe a day, and I'm going to
Or
come
maybe
back
three
and
weeks.
and brush into. Yeah, well, that also becomes the pain of oil though too, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does. But I mean, I guess patience is a virtue, So
Mm-hmm. And a bunch of projects on hold, like
yeah. When you're oil painting, you definitely need to have a few paintings. You know what I mean in the mix there.
mhm. Yeah, going. Um, let's get back though to switching into tattooing. At this point, when you get this ultimatum, that's what you decided was tattoos. You had already done tattoos. It sounded like
Yeah. So
just on the homie.
I ended when I got tattooed when I was very young, which is actually the case for a lot of people I've noticed, in the industry. I got tattooed when I
Mhm.
was very, very young. I was 12 years old. And it was a neighborhood tattoo artist, man. The homie's dad got out of prison and didn't give a shit and would tattoo any of us. He
His
could
spot,
care less,
right? No shit. This
and
guy's a piece of shit, though. Am I wrong?
yeah,
What
no,
was
he is. No, bro, yeah, one
okay?
hundred percent, dude. Like it's a
I appreciate
it,
him for opening the door and letting you see some kind of world where you're at now. But that guy's tattooing a 12-year-old.
oh yeah, total shit, bro. I
Parents
used to
consent?
really, bro.
Hell no. Yeah,
Come,
hell no.
come on.
Oh my
Bro,
god.
I used to take over. I used to take my friends over there when we were young, man, 13, 14, 15 years old. I would take my friends over there to get tattooed, man. And I remember his wife coming home and my homie would have jumped the back wall because if she found out he was tattooing minors, she'd have kicked his
Yeah.
ass out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's on
So,
parole.
yeah, he's on fucking parole, man. He wasn't
And
supposed to be doing that shit.
if you're tattooing minors, you suck at tattooing. Like if
I mean,
that's the niche
hold
of
on,
the
though.
market that you can get, right? You're not good.
I don't know, man, because I've tattooed, friends that I went to school with, and I've tattooed their kids when they're, 16,
Way
17 years
different
old.
though. Yeah, but way
Totally
different, right?
different. But I just had
Because
to
you got
clarify that because,
okay,
it's,
yeah. Well, if
you have
you're
to clarify
only
that.
market share of the market, right? The market of people getting tattoos. If your only market share is people who cannot get tattooed by anybody else by any legal means or by a respectable technician of that craft, then you're bad. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree. I agree.
At the
I
point that you're
definitely
like
agree.
that you can't turn away a 12-year-old for a tattoo because you need to get that money for whatever. Was he
It
charging
gets
you
worse,
money?
bro. It gets worse because we didn't even pay him, bro. What we did was I found a necklace on the
Mm-hmm.
ground when me and my older brother were walking. And he was like, "Man, let's go see if whoop de whoop over there will give us a tattoo." He gave us
Oh my
both a
god.
tattoo for a fake
Neck.
necklace. It had come on, man, it was fake. I found it on the floor in the
Yeah.
hood, bro. It
Yeah.
wasn't real.
How what'd you get?
Prayer hands on my chest.
Fuck yeah. Was this your first tattoo?
First tattoo, man.
Only God
I
can
was
judge me, or didn't you get the
nah,
lettering?
just the prayer hands. And why did I get prayer hands? I have no idea, bro. I was 12 years old.
to,
I
to,
shouldn't have gotten prayer hands.
for a kid who just well, I guess you didn't steal the necklace.
No,
But
hidden
yeah,
feeling necklace. Nope, not that time.
but religion wasn't a big thing for you. It don't sound like.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't really a big thing, but you know how it goes, though, man. When we're running around the neighborhoods and stuff like that, we kind of try to keep things with us or have things around us that are supposed to be like some type of good luck. So that's really what
Mhm.
it was at the end of the day. Some type of somebody looking out for you. You know what I mean? While you're in the streets, type of deal. So
Mhm. Well, maybe it worked. I mean, we are
who
here.
knows? Who knows?
Your girl gets you into tattooing. You decide that. Well, fuck tattoo. If I can't do this selling drugs, and I can see why she's right, then I will try tattoos. Or was it a long process? Like, no, I'm going to keep trying this, and something else went wrong. What?
Yeah, so I actually started tattooing when I was really young, like 13, 14 years old, because once I got tattooed, man, I was like, dude, I really want that shit looks amazing. That looks like something I want to do. So I'm, guitar string needles and stuff like that when I'm very young, doing shit I should
Mm-hmm.
not have been doing.
Maybe we can explain for people by guitar string needles. You mean you were sharpening
I
like
was sharp,
a
yes, sir.
small E string. You would unravel it first, as I understand, and then you'd use
Hmm.
the inner part and you would sharpen it a little bit and you'd fashion it through a ballpoint pen and then you'd attach it to a motor of some sorts that would have a cam on, or you would make a cam, sometimes out of an eraser or something. Glue this whole hodgepodge together with whatever means you have, sometimes even just thread, and then you would dip it in ink and tattoo with that, right?
Yep.
With that needle just bouncing all over the place. Did you find good ways to steady it?
Yeah. So actually, the process was, and this shows you, just like the people I was growing up around.
Mm.
You get friends that come out of prison, man, and they are like, hey, man, try this and do this, and
Yeah.
basically what you would do, dude, is you would take a pen, you blow out the ink out of the pen, get it all cleaned out, and then you could actually use that as your steadying point. So you would hook that into the bottom, which would be like a pin, right? Like the
Mm.
tip of a pin, the twist, the one that turns and off on and off.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I can't think of what it
You
is.
mean the
But anyway,
ballpoint? Do you knock the ballpoint out of the stem? Then this is what I've heard from others.
you
Some of
know
the
what you
better
can actually
ones.
use the pencils,
Uh-huh.
the mechanical pencils, and you take out that like the innards of a mechanical pencil, and that works as well because it
That little
actually has like a base in there that holds the lead kind of straight. So if
yeah,
you push that top of that pin into it, it actually stays pretty well.
yeah. It's funny.
Yeah,
And not that and if anybody's listening now and you're thinking, oh man, I'm gonna shortcut the system, man. I'm gonna go make one of these
yeah.
things
Good
this guy's
luck.
talking
Don't
about.
do it.
And not only don't do it, like you're an idiot. You can buy these things for literally like $7 from China, and it's easily as good as what you're going to be able to make anymore. Some little kid with like 3 fingers left, is soldering this stuff together, breathing in the worst fumes. Let them, do that work for you, I guess. Man, that's a terrible thing to recommend. Can you edit that up?
I mean,
Um,
I would say that it's definitely a better thing to recommend than the way that I was doing it. Let's just be real.
yeah, there was no real. Did you ever become concerned then? I mean, you're only 13, but did you ever become concerned about bloodborne pathogens?
Nah, man, I didn't care about any of that when I was
Same
younger. I
needle.
didn't I didn't know. I didn't know. You
Everybody
know what I mean? I
lining
was
it up to
very
get that
uneducated.
herpes. Yeah,
Yeah, I was very uneducated. Obviously, when it came to the industry and actually tattooing and stuff there. So my first you know look at the tattoo industry. What can't even say industry. I don't want to say that. But my first look into tattooing, that was my example. And I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I definitely don't want to do that shit. But and that's one of the reasons I stopped doing it was because I was like, man, I'm not doing anything right here.
you're
You know what I
scratching it.
mean?
Did
Yeah,
you
I'm
see
just
some
fucking my
good
friends up
pieces
and shit.
that made
No,
you see
hell no.
that, or you just saw the stuff that you were doing just wasn't nice anymore? Like you would see it heal or something. What
It
was
was it
going
was
on?
never it was never it was always artistic. I'm gonna be real. She was always artistic, but because I was always artistic, but it wasn't it. it wasn't nothing nice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. The lines weren't nice. There was the shading looked like shit. So I was like, dude, I'm not gonna keep doing this to people. Like, this is wrong. I'm not gonna do this no more.
And then you decide, well, that's wrong. I should
I'm
sell
gonna go
dope
sell
instead.
drugs. I'm gonna go sell fucking drugs. Why not?
I can't believe I'm hurting my homies like this. Let me destroy the community instead.
Hey,
I do
young
know.
and dumb,
I
man.
apologize for knowing. But I've also paid my time to society for how I had to learn. I wish this stuff
Hey,
was more available, right? Like if there was, I don't know, would you have listened to someone like
mm,
yourself going back and
no,
being like, trust me, this is not
no,
cool.
no,
Yeah.
man. I grew up with a father that really did try to put some knowledge into me in a good way, and
Mm-hmm.
I refused to listen. I was one of those kids that my dad didn't know shit. When in all reality, growing up and being a father myself, man, that was the smartest motherfucker I could have ever had in my corner. I just didn't want to listen to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Every single time you go back, like, oh, that one checks out. Dad was right.
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Is he still around for you to
Oh
let
no,
him
my
know?
father passed when he was 69 years old. He was actually born December 7th, 1941, the day Pearl Harbor was bombed.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's some auspices on your date of your birth.
Yeah,
For
no
a long
shit.
time, like they didn't even celebrate it.
Oh, dude, imagine you being my grandfather walking around super happy, not even knowing
Yeah.
what happened yet.
Well,
And
you're
he's like,
calling
oh,
up the
this is a
Chuck E.
great day.
Cheese. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
this
like,
is a
hey, we
great
need to set up a
day. And
party
they're
for
like,
this
wait, what the
day.
fuck are you talking about, man? This is not a
Mm-mm.
great day.
We shut down. Fucking bowling alley's not open that day. You can't fucking have a McDonald's party in Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
But that's also a hard time to come up in, right? So I'm guessing is that you say he and your mom were working all the time. I'm
Oh
guessing he
yeah,
was
yeah.
working to provide.
Yeah, so he was ex-military, you know what I'm saying? He was actually a frogman in the Bay of Pigs.
Oh
Um,
no shit.
very proud of the man that my father was. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Very, very fucking proud of him. Hardworking man. Worked AC when he got out of the military. Worked AC. Shit.
Yeah, we
Till
had
up
an
to
AC up here
years
too.
before
What,
he passed.
like spark plug type AC?
No,
What
no,
was he
AC
doing?
like air conditioning units.
Oh, okay, HVAC. Right on.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, you're out there. Where are you at too? You in Texas? You Cali?
I'm in Arizona.
Right in between the two. I was going to guess that if you just kept leaving me to it, I would have never gotten New Mexico. I just never traveled there enough to think about it. And at any rate, sorry, I digress. HVAC is very important over there, or
Oh yeah, bro. Oh
AC
yeah.
is very important over there. You guys are like heating. The heating part of the HVAC we don't really need so much.
Now we definitely don't really need the heating very often, man.
I guess that's the colloquial difference between Michigan and California. Because out here, we call it HVAC, heating. I don't know, vacuuming and air conditioning. I don't know what the V's
Vacuuming and
for.
air conditioning.
Must be
I've never
ventilation,
heard the
right?
vacuuming part, man.
It's gotta be ventilation. Yeah. Um, but at any rate, that's because we need the heat out here. Uh, you guys only got one season. Man, he would get some time off then every year, wouldn't he? Right
Yes,
around fall,
it's
winter time.
construction. You know how construction goes, man. If you've ever, I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked
Oh
construction,
yeah,
but
yes sir.
you definitely have off time.
Well, I figure if you're HVAC, then in the fall you start, no one calls you anymore. Or,
Mm.
excuse me, if you're AC, if you're HVAC, you'd still be getting plenty of calls. Our Michigan guys work all year. Yeah, you're right. Candy's just put me back on point. It's the name of the fuck. It's the name of the show, Candy. It's the name of the show, brother. So now you decide I ain't gonna do it the way that I was doing it with a ballpoint pen and a machine from an operation game. I'm going to. Did you start investing in good quality equipment? Did you
No,
start
man, I didn't.
learning?
I actually stopped. I stopped tattooing altogether. Didn't do anything for a while, and I had my son, man, and I had to go to work and do things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I fucking hated it, dude. I hated fucking waking up and going to work a 9 to 5 and,
Mm.
getting yelled at by the boss because his fucking lady punked him the night before. I couldn't deal with it, man. That shit fucking drove me crazy, dude.
You bounced around
I
from a
felt like I
couple of
was.
different ones or not?
I'm
Or
sorry.
just one? You bounce around from a couple of different jobs or just the
Oh,
one that you tried?
a bunch of different jobs, man. I've
Mm.
done everything in construction from AC to, electrical, plumbing, tile, framing. I mean, when it comes to construction, man, I've pretty much tried it all.
Built your own shop then too, didn't you?
I'm sorry?
Did you build your own shop? You do your own refit for your shop?
No, man, I
Okay.
don't have a shop. I still actually work for a friend of mine out here at it's called Ink Therapy Tattoo.
Oh, good
So
name.
yeah, I've been there for years now.
We got a friend that has a clothing line, Ink Therapy as well.
Oh
Who is
yeah,
it? Remember, Sarah Miller had a TV show for a short-lived period too called Ink Therapy. It was
it's a
good.
common name. Let's be real.
Well, it's a common thing. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you, but I hope I'm not trying to. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying it's a diluted product. What I mean is, like, people see tattooing as therapy.
Oh yeah.
You and I know it. Like, how many fucking therapy sessions have you had to give somebody or counseling? That's the one you get the most, right?
The one I like hearing from my clients is like, man, you're a really good listener. You're a healer. I'm like, yeah, I've learned over the years to actually listen to people.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm learning through this podcast, and that only here. If I'm tattooing, I need something to shut me up. You got to put headphones on me, or I'm just going to be chewing your ear off. It's terrible. I feel bad for people. Candy sells it as she says it's a whole experience. So
It's a nostalgia.
sometimes,
I truly believe that it is our job to give good tattoos, right?
mhm.
But it's also our job to give a really good experience. Because for us, we kind of lose the nostalgia of it as a customer. You know what I mean? They come in and this is very exciting for them. This is a
Mhm.
piece that, even if it's something very small to us and we see as just not very fun or whatever else, to them, man, it's their grandmother's writing or something like that. So it means a lot to them.
Yes.
And I feel like we as artists, we can lose the fact of the nostalgia of it for the client. And we have to give them some type of experience, even if it is a client that wants you to talk their ear off, man. Fucking talk their ear off. Listen to whatever the fuck they got to say. Throw your 2 cents in there, man. Give them an amazing experience, because you can give somebody an amazing tattoo and they won't come back to you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can give somebody an amazing tattoo and an amazing experience, man. They're telling fucking everybody about it.
This is true. I feel good about that because you kind of justified. You kind of justified my tattooing now. So I'm like, good, right on. They didn't pay just for the tattoo. They're gonna listen to my opinions about all type of stupid shit, stuff that don't matter.
Well, dude, I mean, for us, for them, we are a getaway. We're just we are definitely a getaway. We are in a nostalgia, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people pay
Escaping the
really good
banalities of
money.
life.
Yeah, and for us, this is normal. For them, I hate to say it, man, and I hate to even put it this way, but people believe that we have this some type of like rock star status or lifestyle, and some do. Don't get me wrong, shit, some do. But for the majority of us, it's grind, 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 grind. So it's very easy, I feel, for us to like the podcast that we're kind of getting lost in, going here and there. We lose that nostalgia as artists sometimes.
Let me put it in a context of I see I went to see Foreigner last night, rock band. Long, like 1977, I think was like their first hit. 76, something like that. Feels like the first time is what so anyways, I go and see him, and I think everybody imagines that this is this hugely glamorous lifestyle. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because in the moment that we see them, they are communicating with large group of people. They are riding a super duper high from being the center of that much attention and having this awesome talent to give them all something to share. People are getting through all kinds of different parts of their lives with that music. The artist doesn't even understand Well, they probably do, but the breadth of what they do seems huge at that moment, and that's when we see them. However, after that, they got to get on a fucking bus and go start traveling, even if it's a nice bus by now. They've got a nicer home. Right? Like, no matter where you're at in the world, your house is usually nicer than where you're at. Like that's what we do. We want our house to be nicer. Even if you're at a good hotel, you still got to pay for every freaking thing. They got the mini bar just taunting you right there. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna pick up these paints. Now you pick them up, they're like weighted, like Indiana Jones intro. They're like, oh no, you picked up the peanuts. You looked at them to see what the ingredients were. You set them back down, yeah, but when you touch that thing, we charge you for it. What? You may have replaced those peanuts. Well, then they've freaking been replaced. What do you? Anyway, I'm getting pretty far off point. What I mean to say is, if these rock stars are what we want or what we emulate, we imagine that it's this awesome life. It's not. It's grind. It takes work to be that. And just like when they watch our lives, sometimes we are in any different state, any different week. But it took a lot of fucking work to get there. And no, we're not sharing the boring parts. Of course not. Our Instagram's full of all the fun times and the dinners. But they're well, the hardships. They're real.
I when it finally hit me, me and my brother took my mother to go and see George Strait in concert, whatever. But we were sitting there talking, man, and my brother looks at me and he goes, man, he's the king. They call him the king of country music, right? He's the king. He's like, man, do you just think about how many kids' birthdays and wives' birthdays and Christmas and everything else he had to miss, and he had to be on the road working to be able to become the king.
The king, yeah.
How much sacrifice he had to make, or his family had to make, and everything else, man, to be known as the king, for so many people around the world to have seen him in concert or anything else. Like, how much work he truly had to put in to get to that point.
I believe it. I hear it.
And in this industry, man, this is one of the best industries. I feel for it, because you can talk a good game in this industry, man, and it'll get you far, but it'll only get you so far.
Yeah.
If your artwork is not up to par, if you're it's that shit will show.
I ran into a kid that was kind of bragging to me about gambling some customer and not even tattooing him and coming away with, a couple grand in his pocket.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can, but it won't last. And I'm also, then it's just a matter of time, and it's already happening. Like suddenly that kind of attitude wears its welcome out, and now you're at the bad end of shit, Yeah,
that's to me, that's
whatever
disgusting, man. That's disgusting for sure, man. You definitely get what you deserve when you treat people a certain way like that, man. It's definitely gonna come back to you. So
bounces around. That karma's real, ain't it?
Yeah, and what's crazy, man, is karma is, I believe, everybody says karma is one of those things that, comes back and bites you in the ass. But no, you're going to bite yourself in the ass, man. Yes. Like that ain't karma, dude. That's your fucking dumb ass. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with karma.
Do you then believe as well the good you put in, you're getting out?
I truly do. Yes.
Some of this I'm building up of some sorts, because I'm really I want to get to the authenticity of your brand. And I haven't talked any about your brand, but I was blown away by what I saw. You have some very talented clothing, and the ability is there. You know what I mean? What you do translates on any piece of clothing. Am I wrong?
It really does, actually. It's because it's all about pattern, and it's all about free flow. And the best way for me to, and I like to explain it, is controlled chaos. I go through and I have no plan whatsoever when I start a shirt or I start a pair. I have no plan. I don't like to have a plan. I like to just whatever my hand and my brain want to do at that given second is what's going to come out. Will it come
Do you
out
have to
good?
be pretty bold then to make your first line or stroke?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would have to say, yeah. You got
Because
to
you
be
just
very
got,
confident. You just got to be
yeah,
confident. Just go.
and trust the process kind of. You're confident in the process.
Yeah, yeah. I've so basically what it is it's calligraphy. It's
Hmm.
calligraphy. It's shapes. It's patterns. So I've practiced calligraphy for so long, and I've done lettering and things like that. And I've never really, don't get me wrong, I like lettering and stuff like that. I love to write, but as far as trying to be like a big lettering artist and stuff like that, it never really appealed to me.
Hmm.
It just didn't appeal to me.
The shapes were
But
cooler than
but
the
calligraphy always
letters.
appealed to me. Yeah, calligraphy always appealed to me. Now, don't get me wrong, I can do lettering and stuff like that. Not like some of these, big names out there. That is what they do. That's their niche. I can do lettering, but again, like I said, it never really popped out at me to be something that I really wanted to do. Calligraphy, on the other hand, like as soon as I seen a calligraphy circle for the first time, man, fucking mind blown.
I don't know if I'm familiar with the calligraphy, sir. I
Oh
have to
man,
look
you're
this
gonna have
up.
to YouTube calligraphy circles, man. I'm telling you, like once you see one of those things, dude, if
Does it
and
look
the
like
to me it
the
was
Lord of
beautiful.
Rings writing or something like that around in a circle, and they
Lord
build
of the
all this
Rings
up?
writing. What
Yeah.
the
It
fuck?
looks like it belongs on the Lord of the Rings. I could be wrong. I think I've seen it because people do it on the floors a lot. Um,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So it's like you might start with an actual circle, and then around that circle you would almost have it. To me, I always imagined it said something, but I never knew where to start, so I never bothered to look. But
So
maybe it
yeah,
doesn't say anything. It's just kind of shapes and
some
calligraphy.
do. Some do say things, some do, some don't. I've definitely done circles in shit, man. I've done I think it's 7 different states now and cities that I've actually done walls in some of the tattoo shops of my buddies, and um, I've done some houses and stuff like that for some
Mhm.
people, and so I've done some with that actually have lettering in them and they say something. But for me, the fun of it comes from just free flowing. So yeah, I can
Yeah.
definitely do lettering and if that's what they want, but it's to me, like I said, that's not.
Well, it seems like you're almost unexcited about it. Can I give a reason why I get unexcited about lettering and see if it resonates with you? When I see lettering in a tattoo or even on the street, right? Anywhere that you see it, if you can read it, it is now not as much art as it is now a thought that you can process and you'll take away with you and you'll think about it and maybe it has something. Maybe you get something from it. Rarely ever, to be honest, because it's not like some inspirational quote. It's not like a cat hanging onto a tree branch and tells you hang in there, or a frog choking out an ostrich as it's swallowing it. It says never give up. Whatever. It's not that. Um, the lettering then in any tattoo, at least, it becomes what it steals so much from the actual image, from the ability for the person who's watching it to interpret that and then have a feeling of their own uh, interpretation, as opposed to now when you put the lettering on it, the wording, it means that one singular thing. And then the other person walks away without even engaging with that person. At least in tattoos, I find it when there's lettering involved, the conversation doesn't necessarily start as easy as if it's just a drawing or something that the other person can then interpret, find something individual, for them in that art.
I would definitely say yes. Once you when you do lettering, it's a how do I say this right? Let me make sure my brain's working and functioning
Mm-hmm.
right here. Um,
It's like an egotistical piece of poop. This
I
says,
wouldn't say
this is
that
my
because
poop.
in lettering tattoos, like if you're doing them like big sleeps and flocks and those big dudes, man, that shit is fucking beautiful, man. Like the flow of it. Like I love the flow of lettering. Like I think the flow of lettering, if you're doing it right, it can tell a story.
Yeah.
But
It makes those words art.
right. But what I've learned is I hit a bigger demographic when it comes to the patterns. So now
Mhm.
let me do a shirt that says Kyle Dunbar. Now you're gonna like that shirt, and whoever knows you is gonna like that shirt. But everybody else is gonna be like, cool. It's
Yeah.
that looks cool.
Means nothing to me.
It means nothing to you. But you
But if you
take
show
something
them
that
an
has a
image that
pattern
means nothing, it means
that
something.
means that means nothing but just pattern and whimsical and just fun.
Mhm.
I'm okay. A perfect example. I'm selling. I've got all of these. I got 200 shirts ready to take with me on the last tour that I went.
Mhm.
So I have 200 shirts with me. Um, I'm selling them to artists, everything like that, you know. And one night, you know, I'm sitting down having dinner at the hotel bar, and a lady stops me. She's, you know, we get to talk and everything. She's in her 60s. She's a traveling teacher that, you know, regardless, she's a traveling teacher. She's in her 60s. She stops me. She wants to know where I got my sweater at. And I'm like, well, I actually made this. That lady bought a sweater and a t-shirt from me down at the damn diner, down at the bar at the
Yeah.
hotel. Now, if that would have said, you know, my clothing brand on it, she
Yeah.
wouldn't have. Maybe she wouldn't have stopped me. But the fact that the flow of it caught her attention, you know what I mean? It's catching
Yeah.
a tattoo artist's attention. It's catching the 64-year-old grandma's teacher attention, and she has to buy it. You know what I mean? If it's hitting those from one demographic to a huge different demographic,
Yeah.
you know you got something good.
And it's yes, I love it. I do. I follow. I get it because I think and your shirts do this. I haven't seen as many. I just you who was it? Al had one on that night.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome. And it was awesome. And you saw right away. And then I've seen your other lineup after that you had at the show. But the shirt without any meaning, without lettering or whatever, then it allows the person, the wearer, I believe, right? I believe it allows the wearer to then be the star. Do you follow me? Like if you
Yep.
have the lettering, if it says American Fighter or something like that, the fighters are the star. Or if it has Under Armour, right? Or and Nike or anything, like it's not you that's cool. You're using this other thing that other people have determined is cool to try and say, I'm cool, I fit in. And instead, this flips that from I fit in to you wish you fit in like I fit in, or I don't need to fit in. Like I am that. I don't need Under Armour. I don't need a Nike to make you think that I bought into this status of cool. I have this awesome. And now your pieces mostly are you printing these yet? Because really, I mean,
No
that's where the
printing yet.
money it seems like it should be, but at the same time, there's a huge authenticity in designing your one-off shirts.
Well, see, this is the plan. I guess I'll sort of put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I started off doing them all by hand. Every single one's done by hand, whether it's bleach painted or it's painted with actual fabric paint onto a shirt and then pressed on so that it stays. That's the process. But so it started off as that, you know, and I noticed on the road, because that was basically, man, I've only been doing this clothing brand for probably about 3 to 4 months now. It's that new. It's and it's I've sold already over close to 300 shirts. But anyway,
In 3 months. So that's 100 shirts a month on average. It's been growing on pace too, or that would
it's
make me.
it's getting bigger and bigger as I go. I've noticed that as soon as I post something, if I post just one shirt at a time, they they
Mm,
uh they shit, bro, they don't even make it a couple days. So um but I have learned being on the road and stuff, you know, not everybody can afford a hand painted shirt. As much as they might want one, they can't afford it. You know, let's just be real. Like, who
mm-hmm.
has, you know, anywhere from 50 to $150 just for a t-shirt
For
or a
one
sweater?
shirt. Yeah.
Right. So I do want to start making and doing the pressing, like pressing them so that they could be more affordable for everybody, so that there's levels to it. There's uh the hand painted ones that are 50. There's the hand painted ones that go all the way up to 100. But then there's also the pressed ones, and then the I hate to say, like, mass production ones, but there'll be the mass production ones coming soon that'll be more affordable.
Right.
So that way I'm hitting every demographic. So I got that guy that's walking by that only wants to spend $20 on a shirt. Well, I have a shirt in your price range. Of course, you're not getting the Ferrari for a Honda price, but I got a little Honda over here for you too, brother.
Is there a
So
concern that waters down the strength of the other, or is there the idea that maybe
I
that
feel
actually
like it.
strengthens up the other?
I feel like it strengthens it. So
Mm-hmm.
what it does is now you have people that are like, well, damn, he's got all the mass produced ones, but I have a one-off original. Like, I feel like that pushes and elevates that much more. Now I could be wrong, but hey, shit,
Do
this
you,
is the way I'm running it. You know what I
well, do
mean?
you sign? How can I know? Do you sign your designs that you want off at all?
So I used to. So all the ones that are out and about right now that
Mm.
I've already sold do not have any type of, besides the actual design, don't have my markings. All of the new shirts, I have sweaters that I'm making. I started doing shorts for guys. Everything that I'm making right now, it all has that. It's an AP for artistic perception, so it has it in the design somewhere.
Okay, which is your clothing brand then?
Yes.
I should have probably asked. A little bit slow and behind on that. Um, I don't. To me, it makes sense that, of course, it could weaken, but if you have the ability to, if it still has status, right? If there's a status and an authenticity that comes across on your one-off, so you wouldn't take some that you've already designed and then mass produce that now,
No. No. I will not do that.
which I imagine is for the same purpose, right? Those people bought that as a one-off,
Exactly.
and they get to wear it out until its fabric isn't even left over.
And I've actually got from a lot of people that, from what I'm understanding, is they're wearing it a few times and then they're actually hanging it up, like putting it on the wall, because it is still art. You know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
it's not just a T-shirt. So even when
Well, that
you know,
shows something about their faith in your product and your company, right? And you as a person, because that's what your company kind of is. It's one-offs from you. So that tells me that they say, this is valuable. I expect you and your stock to rise considerably. And even if this wasn't someday a huge price, it will always be big to me. It's a personal thing now.
yeah, yep,
It's fucking everything, really.
it
When
really
you
is.
get in,
As,
when
as
you
an
get
artist,
into
I don't know.
clothing, that's it, it's exactly. Are you going to try and design clothing too, or are you just doing the designs on the clothing? Or
As of
you
right
gotta,
now, I'm just doing the designs on clothing, but it's definitely something that I want to I want to kind of like get into, because I have visions of how things would look better on, if I did it on this type of a pair of pants or this or that. But if I can design that pair of pants myself and then make sure that my brand is on it as well, like that would be pretty damn cool. You know what I mean?
yeah, then you're controlling both aspects. At one point, I imagine
Exactly.
you're coming to limitations of the clothing. And in the case that you could design the clothing, now you're, and also then you get to invite me to the fashion week in Cannes or whatever. I don't know. Is that where it's at?
Where?
Oh, Cannes. I don't even know where Cannes is. I know it's
I
spelled.
don't, I don't either. I was like, where the hell is that?
Well, we got to learn, bro, because this is your world now. This is this is the success that I see. Just when you get private planes flown out to wherever the rich people show off their designs, it's probably London. Let's say it's London, right? New York. Just invite the kid along. I want a press pass. That's what I'm asking.
Well,
Send me
to
a
be
press
honest
pass.
with
I'll
you,
show
man,
up.
when that actually happens, when that actually happens, see, this is the not the end goal, but this is the main goal.
Yes.
This brand, my tattooing, all of this is going to end up getting me to a point to where I can open up a nonprofit. The nonprofit that I actually truly
Really?
want to do, man, is I want to bring kids in off the streets like that was like me. Like this is a huge goal of mine. And I want to be able to give at any time of the day for them to come in, learn art, learn any, even if it's people that do music, man, they can come in and teach kids music, whatever. But I want to give kids a safe place, man, that they don't have to be running the streets, and they can come in and learn a skill that can truly, like, we make good money, man. This is a good career. You can really do something good for yourself. And who knows, man, maybe I might spark the next generation of pooches and these big names, and you know what I
Dude, I
mean?
love this.
Eh,
I do.
I
Dude,
might actually
this
spark
speaks right to
something,
my
bro.
heart, man. I feel like all the
So
time, if I had been, if I had been more aware that tattoos was a possible outlet, I don't know that I ever would have sold cocaine.
I don't
You
think I
know,
would have either, bro. If I would have noticed when I was younger, like what truly was behind and what was in front of me, and I might have gone about things a different way.
because
If
you
I,
said this is the way we knew to do it. We didn't know the
yeah, we
other
didn't know
ways.
shit. Yeah, we
But
didn't know anything.
if somebody were there to be like, Kyle, man, you really got a talent here, and this can make you money. Let me show you some people that are currently making good money doing this thing, and you could change your direction instead of trying to find out ways to run these streets.
To,
You could be
to
doing
be a to be a positive influence, man, and a positive force for a kid, man, that doesn't really have a positive force around, and you
through
can
art
lead
too, it
somebody
sounds right. I mean,
through
this is the
through
part
and
that you
well,
know.
because yeah, exactly, that's what we know. This is how we create. This is how we express ourselves. Like every shirt, man, every shirt that I make, man, that's me closing everything off, man, and letting my soul and my artistic just value just go. And that's for me, man. Like that's what saved me. Besides my children, of course, that's what
Mhm.
saved me, man. Was being able to express myself through art and everything else. Because growing up, man, I never knew how to express myself. I didn't really know. I didn't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
this
So
is
being
off
able to
topic
take
for
art and
where
express yourself, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's fucking
this is off
beautiful.
topic from kind of where we're going. But did you find yourself as you became more involved with art, and you were actually seeing this as your direction now? Do you find yourself changing considerably too, as the way you interacted with other people in your community? Less, I'm guessing, less hardened, more loving.
Um, I would say yeah. I would say age had a lot to do with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Being humbled in certain areas, and I hate using that word humbled, but using that, it just the people that you meet over the years and the stories you hear, you know what I mean? You kind of realize, man, that not everything that you've gone through in life and everything else like that is a reason to be pissed off and everything else, man. Like regardless of what happens, bro, you can actually have a good life and be fucking happy, bro. It's your choice. So yeah, I guess I could say yeah for sure, bro. Like it's definitely made me over the years. I've always treated people good because that's just the way I was raised.
Yeah,
I don't like fucking people over treating people bad, but yeah, yeah, I'd have to say that definitely is a yes. That
softens
one
you
I
a
had to
bit.
think about for a second, man. Like I really had to think about that one.
Well, I feel like the more in touch people are with any creative part, then they also have more self esteem. And when you have more self esteem, you can stand up against the pressures of, peer pressures of sorts that might, man, when I was running, I wasn't, I don't think I was running hard. I shouldn't make it sound like I was gang banging and stuff, but it felt good to do bad,
Hmm.
and it felt like you were so cool because of it. I remember smoking cigarettes, and if a car would pass by, I was walking down the road or something. If a car would pass by, I'd always try to take a hit off that cigarette, and I was thinking This made me realize what a bitch I was actually about cigarettes. I was thinking, yeah, I hope there's a kid in there that sees how cool I am right now. Blowing my lungs out, killing myself. I'm so dope, man. You should be me. Um, it was a prideful
But
thing.
that goes back to that beautiful point of misguided youth. You know what I mean? And we, me growing up, man, a lot of the people that I looked up to, they didn't have my best interest at heart. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They want to use you for certain things, or they want to try to manipulate you because you're young into doing certain dirt and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To
Yeah, you
where
can get off on some of that stuff, and they know it. You can run this
right.
across town.
So to have again, once again, man, positive being a positive influence for a kid. You know what I mean, bro? You never know who
The
we
possibilities seem
never know who
endless.
we talk to or who we're gonna touch. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Who
how
we're gonna
much
inspire.
if you could inspire, if you could direct and help children in this way with these nonprofits, that you could intervene where you might see somebody going wrong as you yourself felt you had gone wrong as a child, and you give them this outlet, then you would most likely, I'm guessing, you're also going to bring them into the possibility of making t-shirts through your brand that would be that charitable cause of sorts. I mean, this is a way charitable causes need to make money still. You know, I mean, they need
Yeah,
to
of
fund
course.
themselves. You might need to spend all your money, but this gives, if there were a shared commission basis of sorts, if you're able to teach children who normally might be out gangbanging to come on in, this is how we design t-shirts, and then have a market on your webpage for those children's t-shirts. I mean, fuck, people give to Save the Kid funds. You know, you just have a kid that's hungry, and they'll give that kid money. Now they actually
Yeah.
get a T-shirt, and it's one off, and they support that kid. They could become involved with their lives. I mean, I imagine that's a part of your vision already. Is that something you saw or thought that you might be able to help enrich kids through this nonprofit too?
Yes, definitely. So it's not only just to kind of keep them off the streets, but it's to give them, like I said, a skill set. Give them something that truly and show them that, like, because like you said, man, you never knew that there was a path here. There was a career
Yeah,
in tattooing. Neither did I. I never knew it could be what it is for me today. So again, like I said, it's just that spark. Who knows who you spark, whether it be for tattooing, whether it be for t-shirts, or not even that, just the business aspect of it. Like you never know,
yeah.
man.
There
Somebody
might
you
be a
talking
young
to and you're
manager
helping
out there, right?
well, shit, they might end up opening their own business and become fucking millionaires, billionaires. Again, you never know who you can who you can help along the way, man. And hey, dude, all I gotta say is if I can keep my kids on a straight and narrow, and inspire them, and also inspire other people to do things, man, that's a pretty good life, man. That's a pretty fulfilling life.
Well, brother, you're inspiring me. So let me do this. The hardest part of my show is to switch the tables and put you in the control seat for a minute. Let you ask me any hot button questions that you might have in your head for me. So let me do that before we end, because this is awesome. What you got for me? Anything you'd think of?
Shit, now I gotta ask you questions.
It's the way it works. Yep. See, it's actually hard. I say it puts me in the hot seat, but I think I don't like doing it because I recognize that it's tough to ask questions sometimes. And so I'm really putting you in the hot seat, ain't I?
That's what it seems like. That's
So
what it seems. Now you're making my
how's that
brain
warm
work.
seat feel?
Yeah, see, now
Um,
you're making my brain work, man. I don't like this shit.
any questions about the podcast? Any questions about tattooing? My own past. I don't know how I relate with the sky.
You know what? I will. So, how long have you actually been a part of the industry? How long have you actually been tattooing?
27 years, but not a part of the industry. The first was, I was 18, I think 19 when I first did my first tattoo with a machine.
Hmm.
And like 13 when I did my first tattoo with a penitentiary machine. Not that I was locked up, but my brother came out and he was like, let me see the operation game. Operation game never worked again. And he had a bent toothbrush and an ink pen that he poked the
Mm-hmm.
hole out of. There's different methods that he had to make it sturdy. That's why they always interest me, because he had one method, and then you go into some tattoo artists are really cool like that, to where they will either buy scratchers equipment just to get it off the streets and then shadow box it, or they maybe have some left over from their own career that was sentimental, because it was like, no, man, that was an expensive Walkman. If anybody knows what a Walkman is anymore,
I've
uh,
used a few of them. It's
you
definitely
know,
to make machines.
nowadays, no Walkmans. So I think they have to use, like, what is it, haircut and things, clippers, right?
I
Big
don't even
heavy
know how the
ass.
hell they would even do that, dude. I don't even. I that couldn't
And
even tell you
you're
how.
like, Kyle, I don't even want to consider it now, too. That's a long time ago. I'm not trying to remember that. Well, they do the incarceration. Have you heard of it? There's two of them now, two conventions inside of old prisons.
Oh shit, no.
You haven't? How cool would it be for some of us to get together and go and do some single needle shit with some fucking Walkmans? You know, uh, I want to try and sell it as a package deal to somebody who wants this. Right? They're like, if you want the prison experience, depending on the package you buy, like, we'll go right down to having a guard come by and bust us. You can get all frisked up if that's the shit you're into. You get a cavity search with this tattoo experience.
I don't know, man. You better be careful with that one. That one sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
No, man, come on. Now in this day and age, man, we can get lawyers to write a paperwork. You know
That
what
is
you're
true.
signing on for. This thing is advertised as having a cavity search attached. Yeah, don't try and act like you don't like it, you fucking weirdo. I ain't getting one. We skipped that part. I'm just here to provide the service. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I
I
don't
guess
know,
it's
man.
negotiable.
This is all coming out of your brain right now, brother. So
Yeah, well, I've often said, for 2 million, I'll take one for the team. I used to say for 1 million, but someone pointed out inflation, a lot of different aspects to me. But yeah, man, two
inflation
million,
on
I take
what? The
one for a
money or
team.
something else?
Well, my wife warned me about it. See, the joke gets to be the proposition, the indecent proposal kind of stuff. And I was proposing it to her in a whole different fashion. She's funny. So she cuts me off at the pass, and she just proposes it as though what I'm proposing is for me, that I'm getting fucked by some rich millionaire, right? And she says, well, number one, what I'm going to tell you, Kyle, is better show me the money. I want to see it in cash before things get started. And number two is, Kyle, for $1 million, that's a lot of ass fucking. You're gonna want to have a lot of ass. And other than that, she said, you're going to prepare the way. Our kids are going to college. We got house funds. We're going to have some trust fund babies after you get done with that. You can repair from a lot of things, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it still doesn't sound appealing to me.
No, not appealing with the money. No. You ain't about it. I mean, it's financial
Hell
security.
no, it still doesn't sound appealing to me, brother. I'm sorry to say.
Who is it?
Not
Robert
sorry.
Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He pointed out a lot of people just say the funniest things. Like, they don't want to, they won't clean toilets, and he doesn't think they look at it the right way. He's like, well, I don't want to be a landlord because I don't want to have to clean toilets, to be a millionaire. And he's like, that's a stupid thing to say. If you could clean toilets to be a millionaire, be a
Yeah, but I
millionaire.
mean, if you can get fucked in the ass to be a millionaire, dog, I mean, it doesn't sound like a fucking the $1 million I want. I'm gonna go ahead and keep
No,
pushing my shirts over here, and we'll see how that goes.
I'm sure I could buy my self-esteem back. No, it seems like it's for sale nowadays. I don't know. I'll let you know when it comes. So far, the propositions are not rolling in for this recently hemorrhectomy booty hole. It
So
seems
what you're
that
telling me is, if I see you
Mhm.
spitting excessively, then I know what happened.
If you see me driving a Lambo,
Okay.
either my
I'm
podcast
gonna
is
have some
really taking
questions.
off, or I made it to Vegas and I met my Robert Redford.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some questions for you then.
It will depend on how much I can sit down in it, right? You'll see me like ease down into just a second, man. It takes me a second to sit down in. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
With that, I can see that I've definitely stayed too long and said
No, I got
definitely
one
on
more
the said too
question
much
for you
part.
before
Okay,
you
yeah.
go.
Yes,
I got
yes,
one more
absolutely.
question for you because the show is one of those things that's either is very controversial to some. It's one of those things that people think was the most amazing thing that happened to the tattoo industry. Um, with you being on the show, for one, how did it amp up, or how did it affect your career, good and bad? And do you regret anything? Like, do you regret being on the show, or would you do it again?
I have one regret from it. I would definitely do it again. I have one regret. But I'll get to that in a minute. The thing that is, I would definitely recommend it to anybody. I think just like everything, you get into it or out of it what you put in, right? And if you, after I first season was done with the show and I didn't feel so confident, I should really say after the second season, it really hit my ego. You know, I didn't make it far. I wasn't going there really egotistical, but the second time there was like, so you're saying there's a chance? Nah, there's not a chance. You know what I mean? Then they pull the rug out. Well, or I do because of my, you know, I can't meet the day's challenge, whatever. That was an awesome part. For me to have the rest of the world experience with me, right? You get out of it what you put in. For a couple of years there, my ego really got beat up a little bit. I did not for nothing. I think this happens to a lot of people. You see, after they see themselves on some large apparatus like that, they make a physical change. You know, they'll lose weight. Or me, I started doing testosterone. I was like, man, my shoulders look way small. And then I don't know what it was. Now I'm bald because of it. So way to go with your choices, Kyle. But there's this ego part that I had to suffer through for a while until I realized that I wasn't trying to get out of it anything. I wasn't trying to put anything into it. It was like I was trying to let the Ink Master part die off because I didn't finish where I would have liked to have been, or I don't have as many good memories associated with it that satisfy my ego. I wasn't taking this thing that I was given by life and really using it as the tool that it is. And at one point in that, I made a change. And that's when we started this podcast. I was like, there's got to be a resource and outlet for me that's magnified now because of this that I can use. And as I've been using that, it's been fucking even more awesome to have been a part of it, have this little popularity, to be able to share your story, so many other people's stories with people that might not, you know, walk into that or might not know about it. But now because of the show and the little bit of popularity there, I can shine a little bit of light places that I like. It's fucking awesome, man. If anybody goes on it, or if anybody's even struggling with it, I know Mystical sometimes struggles with it about just saying, hey, I'm an Ink Master. Like in the end, nobody fucking even remembers who won. You can say, I'm not saying you should, don't be a liar, but you can say, I won that shit. And people won't know the difference. Sometimes I say that. I mean, I correct myself. I don't try and let that go for too long. I'll tell them I won, and they're like, oh, I remember. No, you don't. Nobody does. No one cares who wins that shit. It's a fucking commercial for me to use now for whatever purpose. And I suggest anybody that does whatever you've given in life, sometimes, in most cases, the thing that you think is your worst thing, right? That's actually your best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to be what God gave you to separate you from everybody else. You know, your hair. Fuck, I don't like my hair. Fuck, it's your best shit. You know, you're like your ears. They're like too unique. Oh, my ears are sticking out there. It's fucking awesome trait. You get to have them ears, you motherfucker. Just think how you can hear shit. Go work in the satellites or something. I don't know. I know this. I know that I don't necessarily believe in these higher powers, but I don't not believe in them, right? I was well trained to believe in them through all the churching I had to do. And those things that we imagine to be our weaknesses are so often actually our strengths. That I see it resound, you know, over and over again. I hope the rest of the world does too, I guess. So if you think you don't have it, right? Like at one point I was like, man, but you never won. You know, what a sad thing for you. You tried twice, failed both times. Get a shot at redemption. You can't keep your anger in check because this guy's a fucking bitch. And now you look like a bigger hoe. So those are the regret that I still have is number one when Nunez came to me and he says, so he says, are you doing as good as Scott? Are you doing as good as Sausage? And I'm like, I should have said, so you're saying I'm in third place, but I never did. Instead, I tried to push him. That's a regret. I wish that I came with my mental game, but I was broken. But whatever, in the end of it, all of that was a ride that everybody got to take with me. And everybody in the world identifies with somebody not giving them their due credit. And from that, it became one of the biggest storylines of Ink Master ever. Because this guy's clearly being ridden down by this guy. Matter of fact, he's even ridden him down so much that he's had to start making excuses for the way he's treating him, saying Kyle performs better when I'm hard on him. And it's like, well, I don't think you're right about that. I think you've made a grave miscalculation because here is Kyle and he's pushing you and you're riding him. I don't think that he is performing like you. And then against his own argument, like to me, the level of insanity was there when I realized that he says Kyle performs better when I push him, but yet he had been pushing me. He had been pushing me and I had not performed better. I kept performing worse. So obviously I call bullshit.
Yeah.
But brother, now I'm talking way too much about myself. Thanks for putting me on the hot seat. I'll appreciate it. With that, I know I've stayed too long and said too much because I gotta go actually look at a venue here for a tattoo convention that hopefully is coming up. Brother, thanks so much for being a part of this.
No, man, thank you for the opportunity, bro. I truly appreciate it. This happened, like you said, man, over you and your wife walking in, which is she's an amazing person as well. It was amazing meeting you. I know you're back there. But this all started as you guys sitting down and a conversation sparked up and James Webster is a good friend of both of ours, and he was the one that kept to hey, put Sean Baker on your show. Sean Baker will get on your show. Sean Baker will definitely get on your show. So I definitely have to thank my boy as well, you know what I mean, for throwing my name out there and helping me out with this opportunity, you know. So
let me say that to others too. If you think you got anything you want to talk about, man, that's what my podcast is this for. If we got any kind of same mutualities, hit me up. Let's see if we shouldn't put something together. Certainly if you're a part of the tattoo traveling groups, you know, because we got that life. There's something that we share that we'll have fun talking about. Brother, thanks so much for being a part again. I do really gotta leave. I'm gonna text you up and we're gonna post a bunch of links of your work. So I'm gonna start asking you for that too here in a minute in the text message and stuff. But take care, Sean. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate you guys. You guys, man, have a good day, bro. And shit, maybe we do it again.
Yes, absolutely. We will check back in when you're when you're up to 1,000, when you're up to 10,000, and then again when you're up to 100,000, and then when you got the nonprofit, man. I look forward to checking in with you. Actually, talk to you soon.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate it, bro. We definitely got to stay in contact. Like,
yes, sir.